In this video, I'm going to discuss a pretty controversial topic on why you need to compare yourself to others if you want to maximize your career. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is there are a lot of people that are saying don't compare yourself to others, and there are reasons for that, and we can talk about that through this video. But there's a lot of good reasons that you need to compare yourself to others if you want to win in your career, if you want to get that job, if you want to get that promotion, or if you even want to spin in a sport or a hobby. So, from a psychological perspective, and I understand psychology very well, I come from an internal medicine background in my youth. Specifically, I was an internal medicine nurse practitioner, and I get it. It feels very good not comparing ourselves to others because we don't feel bad when others may be in a better position to us. So I get it. But unfortunately, what feels good is not always the recipe for success. For example, it feels really good to eat cookies, but I'm unhappy to say this, cookies are not good for your performance or your health. So let's talk about why we need to compare yourself to others and how to do it in a healthy way that will maximize your chances of success. Let's say we want to apply for a job. There will be one position and hundreds will apply for this position and one will get hired. So I want you to think about things from the employer perspective and what they do. They get hundreds of applications for the position and then they compare the resumes. They look for what they're looking for and they compare each person's resume to each other to see which are going to be the best resumes. And if they pick you for an interview, they're going to compare you to others. So not knowing where you stand on the competition, not knowing your strengths, not knowing your weaknesses, not knowing where you're better is not an advantage to you. If you want that job, you need to know how to best position yourself. And you can best position yourself by knowing yourself, your strengths, and what you're great at, and knowing others, and knowing where you can beat the others. So let's look at a few examples. If you want a promotion at work, you have to show why you deserve that promotion and what's in it for the employer, because the employer has a limited amount of financial resources. And if you want it versus someone else, you're going to have to show why you deserve that raise versus someone else. So if you wanted to negotiate a higher salary or job offer, you need to show why you're worth it based upon what you can do and why you're worth more than the others. So let's talk about how you compare yourself to others to win in your job, your career, and your life in a healthy way. First, we are all different. What makes us special is our own unique individuality. So we need to celebrate that. We need to look at our strengths. We need to look at our weaknesses, and we need to know what we're great at. What are our unique strengths and what we can use to beat out the competition? But we can't do that if we don't understand the competition. So when I got my first tech job some 25 years ago, I was leaving internal medicine. I was an internal medicine nurse practitioner at the time. I knew when I wanted to be a network engineer for my first job, and my first job that I actually got was a senior network engineer, and I was a lead architect within 3 months and a principal architect within 2 years. But I knew when I interviewed for that first job, I didn't have the experience that my competition had. I also knew that I didn't have degrees in tech. I had degrees in healthcare, which were very different than tech. My competition at the time had years of experience. They had tech degrees. So I knew I needed to find some other way to compete. So when I spoke to the hiring manager, when I positioned myself, I showed the hiring manager that I had what that hiring manager was looking for. I showed that what I lacked in experience, I made up in energy, enthusiasm, passion for that job. I showed the employer how I was competent in the way I explained things, the way I built my resume, and the way I responded to questions on my interview. I wanted to show the hiring manager that I was willing to go above and beyond. And I knew at the time, some 25 years ago, many of the people in networking maybe had a CCNA. So I showed up on that interview with a Cisco certified network professional, a Cisco certified design professional, and an MCSC. 3 big certifications versus the average person maybe having 1 and an associate 1. I also explained to the hiring manager that my background actually would make me better at medicine. I told my manager how internal medicine taught me how to think strategically, how it enabled me to see all sides of a problem. I explained to him how to help me evaluate the trade-offs between all options and pick the best solution based upon the client's needs, just like I did in every single day in healthcare. I also explained to the hiring manager how I was obsessed with professional development, how I read 3 books per week and strived to get better every day. And guess what happened? I went on that first interview and I was hired not as a network engineer, as a senior networking engineer, because you see, the thing is, I played my game. I did not feel bad that others had a better background than me. I looked at what the competition had to offer versus what I had to offer, and I positioned myself accordingly. Let's examine a company that has a successful product launch. If a company wants to have a successful product launch, they know how and where their product is better than their competition. They know their product key differentiators. They train their sales reps and their engineers on the product's key differentiators. And that way they position the product for success versus having the other competitors eat their lunch, so to speak. There's a quote from the book, The Art of War, from Sun Tzu, that really summarizes this point very carefully. The quote says, if you know your enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles because you'll win every time. It goes on to say, if you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every one win, you will suffer one defeat. And that's because you're leaving it up to chance. It goes on to say, if you neither know you're the enemy or yourself, you will succumb or lose in every battle. So I want you to have the best career. So go out there, compare yourself to others, know yourself, know your competition, and build your battle plan so you can have the best career, the best life. If you're looking to become a cloud architect or an AI architect or an enterprise architect, we've got free webinars and free guides in the description of this video. If you're looking to win your interview, guess what? We've got a free interview guide in the description of this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to be notified of new videos to help you in your technology career. This is Mike Gibbs signing off for now. I hope to see you soon.